In this clip, you'll see Cynthia Loomis is talking about you only get $250,000 of FDIC insurance and why Bitcoin is something you need. Check it out.
This can help the unbanked, the underbanked, the underserved, those that lost money when SVB went down, when Credit Suisse encountered those problems, and the losses that we're now hearing about at First Republic. I mean, if that money was in Bitcoin, yeah, the value fluctuates, and once, hedging becomes more mature and the asset comes more mature, some of those highs and lows will begin to also smooth out. But the point is, their money would still have value. And when people start realizing, I can put money in a bank, but I can only put $250,000 in an insured account.
Well, first off, I suspect we'll go through an extensive amendment process tomorrow in financial services. We're successful there. The bill will pass out. We'll go through a similar process in the Agriculture Committee because it's a split jurisdiction. But yes, I believe it's time to bring some certainty to this process. I will give Chairman McHenry of the Financial Services Committee and Chairman Thompson of the Ag Committee high marks for working really hard to get us to this point. The number of hearings, the number of briefings, the number of roundtables, the number of stakeholders we've listened to is really quite incredible. But this is a complex bill, and we'll see how comfortable the members are. Will it pass unanimously? Probably not. Will the Republicans overwhelmingly support it? I believe so. Will we get Democrats? I think so. Do we have wild cards on both sides of the room in the R's and D's? Absolutely. That's the nature of this complicated session of Congress.
This is how much this space has changed. If you look here, you're seeing a congressman here have a full-blown conversation and talking about how both sides, both Democrats and Republicans, are showing favor towards crypto regulation and crypto rulemaking in the United States. The United States has fallen behind. We'll look at that here in a little bit, but this is definitely bullish for the space. Regulation means that there's clarity for the big boys to come bring in that wall of money that you've always been hearing about. And then with that, what's happening, Crypto Crew? Sean's coming back at you, another cryptocurrency video. Getting straight into it and continuing the conversation. The crypto bill passes Congressional Committee in a victory for the industry. So key congressional committee on Wednesday advanced a bipartisan bill that aims to develop a regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies, which is a huge milestone for Capitol Hill in its efforts to codify federal oversight in this digital asset industry. There's been other jurisdictions like the United Kingdom, the European Union, Singapore, Australia have all moved forward with clear regulatory frameworks for digital assets. The United States is at risk for falling behind. So what this means is that the United States needs to get it together, because if they don't, there's going to be a lot of businesses that are US based that will end up then leaving because they want to get into this space. There's a lot of institutions that want to get into this space. They want to invest their billions of dollars into the crypto space. They want Bitcoin to be that store of value for them. There's hedge funds that want to offer this for their institutional grade clients. But right now, because there's no regulatory clarity, they cannot. But once that green light is given, and it seems like we are on the cusp of something big happening in the crypto space, this could be the next catalyst that ignites the next bull run. But all in all, you just have to be patient and just wait and hold it out. And right here you see the GOP crypto revamp moves ahead with Democrats divided. Clash illustrates the feuding politics around crypto policy following a boom and a bust. So you see here, like, this is Maxine Waters, and with all due respect, do you really think that these are the individuals that should be writing the narrative for the crypto space? Think about this question here. I'm going to ask you this one time. You know somebody that's a little bit older, could be considered a senior citizen, 60 and up. How good are they with technology? How good are they with using cell phones? How good are they with doing something simple as text messaging or surfing the internet? They're not that great. Nothing against that age group. But the reality is they were not raised using computers. The younger demographic has been. Right now, I'm talking to you through a YouTube video that I am recording on my laptop. I'm bringing you this news on our own channel. That didn't exist 50 years ago. So nothing against the baby boomer generation, but they shouldn't be holding this up. It's very simple. You see the adoption curve, you see what's been going on, you see that people are wanting crypto regulatory clarity, people are wanting Bitcoin, institutions want it, the globe is pivoting towards Bitcoin. So with that, are you going to continue to hold it up, or are you going to continue to handicap the space, or are you going to adopt it? Because as you look here, looking at the charts, we can see where this is going. Bitcoin has just been going up and to the right. We can even draw a few more lines and extend these lines and try to make it clear. And as you see here, that this space is not going anywhere. This chart looks extremely bullish. And every time you break into channels, will you ever break into a higher channel than this one here? That's a possibility. Looking at the RSI, you get overbought, oversold, overbought, oversold, so on and so forth. But as you see here, this is on the monthly chart. Each one of these candles represents 1 month. Bitcoin just comes up, stair steps its way up. Could we be getting ready to make that next big leg up to where we blast out of this channel? If we do, that takes us over $200,000 per Bitcoin. And how high could it go until Bitcoin stops? Nobody really truly knows the answer to that. But as you see, there's no denying that there's definitely a huge momentum push to the upside, and Bitcoin is just continuing to stair step its way up. Now, what if this looks like this in the future? Will we keep just breaking through these channels and double bottoming out and then retesting this before we hit our head again? How high can Bitcoin go? Bitcoin can literally go to infinity if everything's denominated in Bitcoin value. So just keep this in mind. The big boys can push the price up astronomically, but this is definitely a bullish adoption curve. With that, let's hear from Michael Saylor and the latest from him and what his take is on the current status of the crypto space. Let's hear from Michael.
My recollection is, as of now, looking back from the current day for 10 years, I see some numbers showing about 110 to 120% annual appreciation a year. And that's 10 times better than the S&P. So I think that's the best performing asset class. But, depending upon what dates, if you pick a different 10-year date, you might get a different number. But what I think, of course, is Bitcoin will continue to appreciate more aggressively than other asset classes because it's the technically superior property. It's the least inflationary, and it's engineered to do this. So I expect it to outperform other comparable assets. It'll be much better than bonds, much better than gold, much better than a market basket of equities. It'll be much better than all the currency derivatives because all the currency derivatives are based upon the net present value of the cash flows or the discounted value of the cash flows. So I think this is just a continual thing. Will it go up at 110% a year for the next 10 years? At some point, presumably, its growth rate slows down as the law of large numbers kicks in. And it goes from growing 100% a year to 50% a year to 40% a year to 30% a year to 20% a year to 10% a year. But I do think it'll keep appreciating over a long enough time frame. And I think it'll appreciate faster than any other choice that I can come up with, right? So I take a long perspective. And in terms of where it can go, I look at the value of gold, about $10 trillion of gold, and I don't see any reason why it doesn't flip that. And I look at $100 trillion in bonds, and I look at at the size of the global equity market, and I think 10, 20, 30% of that or more, it just wants to be in a store of value as a monetary index or just a property. So I think a portion of bonds, a portion of real estate, most of monetary gold, a decent portion of gold, a decent portion of ETFs. People are putting money in an ETF like the S&P index. They're kind of just trying to save their money. When they're buying the S&P 500, they're just buying a diversified portfolio of equity because they don't want to keep their money in a savings account yielding 0% interest. And they know that bonds you're taking the risk of losing all your money, but you're only getting paid 1 or 2 or 3% interest or something. So as Bitcoin grows, I think it attracts that capital. And so why shouldn't it go to 10 trillion, then 20 trillion, then 40 trillion, then 80 trillion? So do I see a path to $1 million a coin? Sure, I do, right?